Don't act all high and mighty over a measly $12,000. You're useless. Try cutting off your financial support and see if I care. Even though I've been sending money to my brother and his wife for 10 years, why do they have to berate me like this? Fine by me. With that, I firmly hung up the phone. They should be the ones worried, not me. I won't help them anymore, no matter what happens. My name is Angela. I live with my husband Niles and our son Seth. Niles is incredibly kind. He actively helps around the house and spends quality time with Seth. I've been living a happy life, but I have a concern. It's about my older brother Freddie and his wife Isla, who live in our family home. Our mom, named Jean, retired and moved back home after Freddie and Isla declared they would take care of her. Growing up in a single-parent household, I was worried, so I gladly accepted Freddie's offer. To show my gratitude, I've been sending Mom $12,000 every month. But things seemed off after Freddie and Isla started managing the money. Whenever I forgot to send the money, Isla would angrily call me. Each time, I'd rush to transfer the funds. Mom's behavior also seemed strange lately. She's been distant on the phone, often comparing me to Freddie. Freddie has always struggled academically and isn't athletic. Mom used to complain about how Freddie didn't study as much as I did, but now the tables have turned. I didn't understand why Mom's attitude changed, but I never stopped the financial support. At the beginning of a new month, Isla calls my cell phone as usual. "Did you forget this month's money? What's the deal?" she scolds. "I'm sorry. I'll transfer it right away." "You're so clumsy. How do you even manage to raise a child?" Isla berated me, urging me to transfer the money quickly. I felt like I was being extorted and uneasy about the whole situation. Is this how financial support is supposed to work? Isla's aggressive behavior started when she first met our family. The first time she saw me, she scoffed. "Who's this plain girl? Freddie's sister? No way." I was taken aback. I never expected such a comment from someone I just met. Mom defended me, and I remember that clearly. Isla's attire was a miniskirt and a flashy leopard print jacket. "Isn't it inappropriate to wear that to meet your fiance's family?" I thought so, but I didn't say anything. Isla's behavior only escalated from there. I vented to my husband, who was also upset. I found solace, but the idea of having her as family was disconcerting. However, Freddie wasn't the most sensible person either, so I assumed I'd get used to it. Their behavior worsened after moving into the family home. I wondered if Mom was okay living with them, but with work and raising Seth, I couldn't visit Mom and was left in the dark about the details of her well-being. Amidst our busy lives, Mom suddenly called at the end of the month as usual. I had just dropped my son off at the child care center and was about to head to work when I received a phone call from her. "What's wrong?" I asked, but Mom sounded furious. When I asked her to explain, she said something outrageous. "Where's this month's money?" I was shocked. I had already sent the money at the beginning of the month. I told her I transferred it to Freddie's account, but she angrily claimed she hadn't received it. Surprised, I asked her to check again, but she wouldn't listen. "You've become so irresponsible after all I did to raise you. Right now, you're sending less money. You're so ungrateful." I did send the $12,000. Enough excuses. Send the $12,000 now. If I don't get it next month, I'll cut ties with you. Learn from Freddie. He always sends $500 on time. Why am I expected to send $1.02 to 000 when Freddie only sends $500? Angry, I yelled back that I did send the money and hung up. It might have been a bit childish, but I wanted to be clear about the money. If Mom's going to unfairly scold me again next month, I need to check in with my brother. There's a chance his wife is up to something. Determined, I headed to work, my footsteps echoing with frustration. The next month, as usual, I got a call from my sister-in-law. "Did you forget this month? I always tell you to transfer at the beginning of the month, don't I?" I asked her about Mom's behavior last month, to which she responded, "Oh, she might have been a bit upset. But I leave everything about Mom to Freddie. If you're concerned, ask him. More importantly, make sure you transfer the $1.02 to 000. Got it?" She hung up without waiting for an answer. Taking her advice, I decided to contact my brother. "Hey, I wanted to talk about Mom," I said. He responded with annoyance. "What now?" I told him about the angry call from Mom last month and how she was upset about not receiving the money. To my shock, he said, "We're struggling too. Since moving back home, we decided to give Mom $500 from your $12,000 and $500 from my salary. We used the rest this month. We had some extra expenses, so we used all of your $1.02 to 000. I was stunned. I couldn't fathom that my money was being used by my brother instead of Mom. Filled with anger, I confronted him, but he skillfully dodged my questions, leaving me feeling helpless. I hung up, contemplating whether I should inform Mom about the situation. Calling her, I relayed everything my brother had said, but she refused to listen. "You're just making excuses. You probably didn't send the money this month either. I sacrificed so much for you, and this is how you repay me," Mom said, tears streaming down her face. Feeling helpless, I asked Mom to switch to a video call to prove that I had properly transferred $12,000. Mom hesitated but eventually switched to a video call. I displayed my bank card with the transaction history, hoping she would understand. However, Mom remained skeptical. "You probably faked this. I heard on the news that it's easy to make these things now. Just pay this month's amount, and we'll talk after that," she insisted. I transferred the $12,000, hoping that it would resolve the issue. Mom, acting high and mighty, demanded to see my brother's bank card as well before hanging up. Trusting Mom and my brother, I transferred the money for the current month, believing that she would realize I was right. However, a few days later, I received another angry call from Mom. Confused, I waited for her to explain. She angrily claimed that she hadn't received the money for this month and was struggling to make ends meet. I insisted that I transferred the money on the day I called her and suggested checking with my brother. When I called my brother, he responded gruffly, claiming that Isla had the bank card, and it was none of my business how they used the money. Frustrated, I contacted my sister-in-law, who nervously laughed and admitted, "Oops, got caught. I saw the transfer from you and immediately withdrew the $12,000 to buy a designer bag. I plan to repay it soon, but I work part-time and haven't received my paycheck yet." I was incredulous. That money was intended for Mom, not for their leisure. Angrily, I demanded she return the $12,000. However, my sister-in-law snapped back, "Don't act all high and mighty over just $1.02 to 000. You're useless. You're a full-time worker. You must have more money. Just transfer another $1.02 to 000. I was furious. I couldn't believe my money was being used like this. That weekend, I went straight to my parents' house, and my brother and sister-in-law seemed surprised by my sudden visit. Mom welcomed me in, asking if I brought the money. I stated that I had transferred the money and wanted to confirm it, intending to see my brother's bank card. When I confronted my sister-in-law, she made a disgusted face. "Ila, you have the bank card, right? Show it to me." "Why should I show it to you?" "Because I transferred $12,000 to my brother's account," I insisted. However, she refused to show me. "You said you'd return it, right? You've received your paycheck by now, haven't you?" When I glared at her, she tried to dodge the question. "You're trying to blame me for not transferring, aren't you? I've transferred it properly." As we argued, Mom shouted in anger, "Angela, enough. I thought you brought the money. La would never misuse it." She pushed me towards the door. "If you came here for that, then go home. You're no longer my daughter." In my anger, I retorted, "Fine, I'll stop sending money. You might not know, but my brother and his wife aren't as good as you think. They told me they only give you $500 out of the $1.02 to 000 I send. They're deceiving you." "You're lying." "Then I won't send money anymore," I declared. My brother sneered. "Go ahead and stop. If you do, we're done." Gladly, I left my family home with those words. "I'm done. I won't help them anymore, no matter what happens." When I told my husband about what happened at my family home, He comforted me, saying, "Angela, you've been sending $12,000 for 10 years. It's okay to stop. Don't worry about it. Plus, your brother and his wife are there, right? They'll manage somehow." "You're right. I'm sorry it came to this. It's okay. It's not your fault. Besides, sending money is a gesture of goodwill, right? Everyone's an adult. If they wanted to, they could get full-time jobs. You don't need to worry about them." Hearing that from my husband, I felt reassured. Right. Sending money is a matter of goodwill. My brother is an adult and has ways to earn money. I don't need to support my brother and mom's life, nor should I be forced to. I guess I've always felt obligated because I've been cleaning up after my brother and mom's mistakes for so long. I've always wondered why you had to take care of your family and brother. It seems strange, but I thought you were okay with it. Then it was fine. But now your family is me and Seth, right? You can help your family and brother if something happens. But you don't need to guarantee their livelihood every month. Hearing that from my husband felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Then, in the middle of the next month, my mobile phone rang incessantly. It was my brother and his wife. I had planned to sever ties with them, so I was curious about the call. "Hello? Why didn't you send money this month? I told you I'd stop. Besides, you don't need it. You have each other, huh? Are you sure about that? We're done. I have nothing to do with you anymore," I said, hanging up. That evening, my sister-in-law was waiting outside my house when I returned from work, holding my son's hand. I was taken aback as she approached me aggressively, berating me in the hallway of my condo. "Do you think you can get away with this?" "What do you mean? We've cut ties. Don't come here again." Hearing that, she stomped her foot in anger, yelling and cursing. Someone from the neighborhood must have called the police because they arrived shortly after. She was taken away by the police. In disbelief, I immediately called my brother. "Lus stormed into your place and got arrested. Why did that happen?" "It's cruel of you to call the police. We're family." "I didn't call them. Someone else did. Can you please have her stop asking for money? It's a bad influence on my son, and I don't want anything to do with you anymore." When I firmly responded, my brother went silent and then began pleading in a weak voice. "Look, I work part-time, and Ula works part-time too. Mom's pension is small, and we can't live without your $12,000. You get that right. Most of the $12,000 goes to Ula's leisure, so you should be fine, right?" "No, it's not like that. Sure, she spends a bit recklessly. But we need the $12,000 for our lives. Please send it this month." "Why should I support you? You probably only give Mom $500 anyway," I replied, hanging up. I decided never to answer calls from my brother or sister-in-law again. I received many texts from my brother, but I only looked at them and ignored them. My sister-in-law kept trying to contact me, which was annoying. But maybe because she was arrested, she didn't come to my house. A few months later, I finally got a call from Mom. "Angela, Freddie hasn't been giving me money lately. I'm struggling. I was mad before, but I realized I only have you." Mom's voice sounded weak. She then started complaining about how my brother and his wife had been treating her lately. "They're terrible. They don't even give me $500 now, and they're living off of my pension. I told them to get full-time jobs if they need money, but they don't listen. Lud is hardly ever home. What should I do?" Mom began to cry in a heartbroken voice. However, I didn't feel sympathy for her. I had trusted both Mom and my brother, but they betrayed me. On top of that, they told me we were done to begin with. I went to college without borrowing money from Mom. I even paid off my brother's student loans that Mom had been burdened with. That's more than enough. Mom, if you don't want your pension taken by them, why not kick them out of the house? They're adults. They can manage on their own. I gave that piece of advice and ended the call with Mom. She seemed to want to say more, but I had made up my mind not to get involved. They can figure things out on their own. I have my own challenges to deal with. In the end, it seems Mom kicked out my brother and his wife because of their terrible attitude. Having been evicted, they apparently moved into an old apartment. Since that incident, Mom hasn't been very involved in my life, perhaps feeling awkward. Once my brother called, he kept trying to contact me. And when I answered, he said they were in debt because of his wife's excessive spending. He asked for help, but I ignored him. I no longer see Mom, but I live happily with my son and husband.